Today for math, I want to show you guys some money, and I'm really excited about this. First, I want to show you something that is one of those items that used to be used for money because it had a great value and was easy to carry around and trade for things. This is a stone called obsidian. Now you can see that this obsidian it's kind of shiny, it's really smooth, it's kind of glassy, and it has parts where it has chipped away and become very sharp. This is a stone that is formed when lava cools. This is just cooled lava, but it's cooled to such a point where it has become hard as a rock. It's not one of the hardest rocks there are, though. Now, the great thing about obsidian, the reason it was so highly prized, why it was so valuable, was because of those sharp edges that were made when you chip away at it. People used these a long, long time ago to make arrowheads because they could use stone tools to chip at them and make them into really sharp points that could be used for hunting. So this would have been one of the very earliest forms of money that you might trade for something else that you want. So obsidian is a really cool rock, and it's only found in areas where you have volcanoes. So if you didn't live near volcanoes and you wanted arrowheads, you might be willing to trade a lot for little pieces of obsidian. Now I want to talk about some money that you might be pretty familiar with. I sent home a little bag full of money for each of you this week. So you might go ahead and take out your little bag and you can look at your coins while I talk about my coins. Now, these coins that I sent home to you and that I have in front of me here, these are all just coins that I have not very purposely collected, but I think these coins are the coins that come home in my husband's pockets, and then he puts them in a jar, and there they sit. And so I just pulled out a bunch of them. And the cool thing about coins is that there's so many different ones. It's fun to look at them closely because you might be surprised at what you find. Now, almost all of these are American coins. There are a couple that are not, but they're really good at disguising themselves as American coins because they're Canadian coins. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, so this one here, this is a Canadian coin, and you can see that it says Canada on it somewhere. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, I think you can. So it has a beaver on it. It also, on the other side, has a picture of Queen Elizabeth of England because Canada still has ties to England and loves that queen. So, Canadian money aside for a second, let's talk about our American money. The first one I want to talk about is this little orange one. You probably know this one already. This is a penny, and it is the smallest kind of money we have. It's worth only 1 cent. Now, if I had 100 pennies, that would be worth $1. Now, you can see that on one side of the penny, there is a picture of a man. This is Abraham Lincoln. He's one of our past presidents. On the back of the penny is a building in Washington, D.C. called the Lincoln Memorial. So that's a building that was made just to house a statue of Abraham Lincoln. Now you notice that you're going to see that on most of these coins in the United States, we have some words written here. On the front it says, "In God we trust," and it says liberty right there. And then there's a little date. This one is 2007. That date is the year that this coin was made. So this one was made in 2007. Now on the back, it says United States of America, because this is a United States coin, and it tells us it's worth 1 cent. There's also some teeny tiny little writing right in there. It says E pluribus unum. That's Latin. it means out of many, one. It's just a little slogan that they put on these coins. So there's our penny. Next, we have a nickel. Now here's a nickel that is probably the most common type of nickel you're going to see. A nickel is worth 5 pennies, 5 cents. Now on the front, we have a picture of Thomas Jefferson, who was another American president. And again, it says, "In God we trust." And then here it says liberty over on this side. And this coin was made in the year 2000. I can tell because there's a date right there. You might say it was minted in 2000. That means when it was made. On the back, we have a picture of a building again. And this one is a picture of Thomas Jefferson's house, which was named Monticello. And again, we have United States of America, 5 cents. And it says Monticello, so we know what that is. And then it says, again, that E pluribus unum. Next, we have the dime. On the dime, so the dime is going to be worth 10 cents. This is 10 pennies or 2 nickels worth of money. We still have the date written on there. We have liberty. This is a picture of another United States president named Franklin Roosevelt. And on the back, there's no building, but these are some different symbols that kind of represent that represent Franklin Roosevelt and some of the things he did. So we have some oak branches that represent strength, some laurel branches that represent peace, and this fire in the middle, and its little flame of liberty. So there's our dime. And then the coin that we have that is worth the most money in the United States, our biggest coin. Well, it's actually not. We have some other ones that are bigger, but I don't think I have them with me. This is a quarter. It's worth 25 cents. So it's the same as 25 pennies. On the quarter, we have a picture of George Washington, our first president of the United States. This coin was minted in 1978. On the back, we have this eagle, and this is the symbol of America. This is, you see this is the seal of the United States of America. And so you see this in a lot of places. You might see it whenever a president is speaking. It might be pictured on the front of a podium where he's standing, so you'll see that symbol quite a bit. And it says $quarter. So that means that 4 of these equals $1. Now I want to talk just a little bit about, I want to talk about some different variations we have on all of these. I've got several quarters here, and all of them have George Washington's face on the front. But on the back, they have different things. This one is, it shows a picture of the Great Lakes, and it says Michigan, 1837, Great Lakes State. Down here it says 2004. Well, in the 2000s, they started minting coins that would be, they call it commemorative coins. It's sort of like a way for us to honor different things. And so these particular coins were minted to honor all the different states in the United States of America. So every state has its own coin. This one is from Michigan. And all of the quarters that were printed in 2004, I think, have Michigan on them. Here's another one that looks the same on the front. On the back, this says Puerto Rico. Isla de Encanto. And this one says 2009. So in 2009, we were printing Puerto Rican coins. Now, I showed you on this other one, on this Michigan one, it had another date, 1837. I believe that's the year that state became a state. And that's why they printed that one on. Here we have another one. Ooh, and this is a nice one. This one is from Alaska. You can see it says Alaska really tiny right down here. The coin was minted in 2012, and it says Denali. Whoops, where are we? It says Denali right at the top there. And it has a picture of a Dall sheep and some mountains. It's a very Alaskan image. And then this last one, ooh, this is my favorite. So another kind of commemorative coin you might come across, and they're a little bit harder to find these days, these are the Drummer Boy coins. When I was about your age, my grandmother started giving me all the Drummer Boy coins she could find, and I collected them. And I got to have a big collection of quarters that all had this Drummer Boy on them. And this was minted. I don't know exactly, well, it doesn't say the year exactly, because this year on it says 1776. Oh, this is what it is. It's 1776 to 1976. So this was commemorating the 200-year anniversary of our country. So 200 years after we gained our liberty from England, they made these coins to remember that. So that's another way that people, that we honor different times, we honor different people on our coins. Let's see. Oh, and I tried to give each of you guys a quarter with an eagle and a quarter with one of the states. So you can see which state your quarter is from. Now, let's see, what else have I got here? These dimes are pretty, I just have the one. So I've got some interesting nickels here. So there's our typical nickel with the Monticello on the back. And then I have another one. It's still Thomas Jefferson, but his face is just kind of in a different angle. This was minted in 2005. And it has a really pretty picture on the back. It says, "Ocean in view of the joy." Oh, and this one says, "Lewis and Clark, 1805. So this was minted in 2005. So again, that would have been 200 years after Lewis and Clark. They were explorers. And that's 200 years after they explored the West. And they went all the way to Oregon. And so this is a coin that's remembering them and all the things they did. Here's another one. Now again, it's Thomas Jefferson, but a different angle of his face. And on the back, we still have Monticello. This coin was minted in 2008. Now this one is a very old nickel. They call this one a buffalo nickel because it has this buffalo on it. Now I can't even, this is so old and worn out, it's really hard to read. I can't even see what the date is on this coin, but it has, you can see like a Native American man on the front, and on the back it has this buffalo. And you don't find a lot of these around anymore, but this one is, it's really smooth. Like it feels like it's just been in so many pockets over time. All right, oh, and then here's one. This one's an imposter. This one's not an American coin at all, but it's the same size and shape, and it would be really easy to confuse the two, wouldn't it? But this one has a picture of the Queen of England, because this is a Canadian coin, and they like to honor the Queen of England, Elizabeth II. And on the back, it has a beaver. So that's kind of fun. All right, now, ooh, I wanted to show you this too. This is a really old quarter. Well, actually, it's not that old. The funny thing about this quarter is you can hardly see what's on it. It looks super old, doesn't it? But if I turn it over, it actually has a picture of Texas on it, and this was minted in 2004. So this coin has just been through some hard times, I think. You can't really tell how old a coin is just by looking at it. Now pennies, I want to talk about our pennies for a second. Let's see, these are all just a little bit different, I think. First, we have our Canadian penny. Again, it looks just like an American penny, except we've got Queen of England on the front, and we have the Canadian maple leaf on the back. And a lot of times in the United States, we'll take Canadian money because it's so similar that we might as well. Now here's your most typical penny that you're gonna see. This one is from 2007. It has Abraham Lincoln and the Lincoln Monument. This one is a little older. This one's from 1945. So probably from about the time that a lot of your grandparents were born. And on the back, it doesn't have that Washington Monument. It just says 1 cent, and it looks kind of like some grains of wheat or something growing around the side. And oh, there's another Canadian one. Oh, here's one that I tried to send some of these home with you guys. You might have one that looks like this. So that's another way that the back of a penny might look. This was from 2015. So these are newer pennies that have this symbol. And it says that E pluribus unum on there, out of many one. And then here's a really special one. I don't see a lot of these. This one, it's still a penny from 2009, and it has this like a log cabin on the back. And Abraham Lincoln is known for having grown up in a little log cabin. Probably it looked just like this. So that's another penny. So I just wanted to show you guys some of that money.